Today we are talking about area of triangles. Okay, the formula for finding area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Okay, and the reason for that is if you look at a triangle, you can literally draw a rectangle. And you can see the triangle portion is half of the entire rectangle. And since our formula for rectangle is base times height, a triangle is going to be just half of that. Okay, so let's use this same formula here. Area equals 1/2 base times height. So I'm using my 1/2 stays the same. My base is going to be 7 here. And remember, your base and your height are perpendicular to one another. So we're looking for that right angle. And 4 times 7, we're taking 1/2 of that. Okay. So 1/2 of 28, 7 times 4 is 28. And half of 28 is 14. And that is going to be inches squared. Again, we are still talking about area, so it's still two-dimensional. So our solution is going to be the area is 14 inches squared. Okay, so that's this shaded in space right here is 14 inches squared. All right, let's take a look at number 2 here. We'll do the same exact thing. Area equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, and my base is going to be 4. My height is 13. Okay, I can also do this in order. 1/2 times 4 is 2. So area equals 2 times 13. Okay, you can go in order there. This time, the first time I did the 7 times the 4 first because the order of your multiplication doesn't necessarily matter. Here it's easier to multiply 1/2 and 4 because half of 4 is 2. Okay, then it would be to multiply 4 and 13. So area equals 26 meters squared. Okay, 26 meters squared. Okay, and I do not forget to multiply that by that half, okay, because a triangle is, again, half of that rectangle. It's not the whole rectangle. If you don't multiply by the half, then you're giving the area of a rectangle, and that's not what they're asking. Okay, there's a couple more very similar to that you can try there. Now, I want you to take a look at um, a different type. Those are all right triangles. Let's take a look right here on number 8. John is arranging billiard balls in a rack. What is the area of the rack? Okay, so this, again, the height needs to be at a perpendicular angle, which is not along the edge of the triangle. Okay, so it is this distance here in the middle. You could also, again, do it on the outside, just like we did with the parallelograms. Okay, so we're using the same formula, 1/2 base, which is 11.5 times 10. Okay, using that same exact formula. Again, I can multiply in any order. Easier here to multiply half times 10. So I'm going to do area equals 1/2 times 10 is 5 times 11.5. Okay, so we have area equals, and then 5 times 11 is 55. Half of 5 is 2.5. So 55 plus 2.5 is going to be 57.5 inches squared. Again, we are still doing area, so it is inches squared. Okay, the most difficult part about that is making sure that you use the height. And there is a little arrow here pointing to that. It might be a little deceiving. We are not doing this diagonal. Okay, that is not the height. The height has to be perpendicular to the side. Okay. Let's take a look at number 9. It's similar to that last one. Rozzy's going camping. The front of his tent is shown below. What is the area of the front of his tent? Okay, so they give us here, my base is 78. Okay, so we use that same formula. Base is 78 times the height, which they give us is here. It's perpendicular. okay, times 55.5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just use a calculator for this one. 78.5. Nope, 78 times 55.5 divided by 2 or times the 1/2. And that's going to be the area equals 2,164.5 inches squared. Okay, inches squared. Okay, a problem like this, they might ask you to turn that into feet. Okay, if they do that, you have to divide by 12. So you would do this 55.5 divided by 12, and it would be 4.625 feet, okay, times 78 divided by 12 would be 6.5. And you would still multiply this by a half in order to figure that area of a area in feet. Okay, they give it to you in inches, but if they needed it in feet, you would have to divide those to find what those distances are as feet. Okay, so make sure you pay attention to what the question is asking for. Okay, there are several more like that you can try on your own there. Okay, last type of problem we're going to take a look at is finding a missing dimension. So we are using the same formula. 1/2 base times height is your area. We are substituting the numbers they give you for the variables they represent. So if area is 29.25, we substitute that in 1/2, and then base we don't know, height is 9. Okay, 1/2 times 9 is going to be 4.5, so I have 29.25 equals 4.5 b. Okay, then I divide by 4.5 to get b by itself. Divide by 4.5. Okay, 29.25 divided by 4.5 is 6.5. So we have 6.5 feet is b. And because b is a single dimension, it is feet, not feet squared. Okay, it is the distance. Okay, distance is one dimensional. Okay, so it's 6.5 feet. All right. And then let's take a look. Let's do one more together. Let's come down and do this number 16 because this shows the height outside of that triangle. And remember, you have to use a height that is perpendicular to that base. Okay, it doesn't have to be the edge of a triangle. Okay, so the height is this vertical distance. Okay, so area equals 1/2 base times height. 29.75 equals 1/2 of 7 times the height. Okay, and 1/2 times 7 is going to give me 3.5, so I have 29.75 equals 3.5 h. Divide by 3.5 on both sides. Okay, and 29.75 divided by 3.5 is 8.5. Is the height. And again, it is one dimensional, so it's 8.5 meters is the height. Okay. Area is two dimensional because we have to multiply by both of those. But when we do that division, we're taking away one of the dimensions and we are left with just one dimension. Okay. All right. There are several more of those that you can try on your own here as well.